when you went and kind of swatted at Caitlin, did you intend to hit her in the eye?
Caitlin Clark's eye just got poked on the court. But you know what's crazier? The aftermath is causing a huge stir in the WNBA. Players are mad, the union's speaking up, and it's not just about basketball anymore. This is about respect, media ethics, and the future of women's sports coverage. Let's break down what's really going on here. Picture this. It's a high-stakes playoff game. The crowd's going wild. Clark's on fire, making moves left and right. Then bam! Out of nowhere, she gets poked in the eye.
Caitlin, could you tell us a little bit about your eye, the hit, if it affected you, how it affected you, and through the rest of the game?
The arena goes silent. Players are shocked, coaches are yelling, and fans are losing it. It's like someone hit pause on the whole game. But guys, this eye poke, it's just the tip of the iceberg. We're about to dive into some crazy stuff that's happening behind the scenes. This isn't just about one play gone wrong. It's sparked a whole debate about how we treat women's sports. You think you know what's going on? Trust me, there's so much more to this. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
Yeah, obviously got me pretty good in the eye. I don't think it affected me. Honestly, I felt like I got good shots. They just didn't go down, and obviously a tough time for that to happen. Better than I usually do, which is a positive, but overall, like, coach said in the locker room, like, we were down 3 the first quarter, down 5 second quarter, and then lost by 3 in the third.
You think you've seen tough questions in post-game interviews? What happened after this game is on a whole other level. A reporter stepped up to the mic and asked something that's got the entire WNBA buzzing. It's not just about basketball anymore. We're talking about respect, professionalism, and how the media treats female athletes. So here's what went down. USA Today, reporter Christine Brennan decided to ask DiJonai Carrington about the eye poke incident with Caitlin Clark. But it wasn't just any question. Brennan straight up asked, "Did you intend to hit her in the eye?" Can you believe that? It's like accusing someone of trying to hurt another player on purpose. Carrington's response? Pure class. She said, "I didn't even know I hit her, actually. It was never intentional." Imagine being in her shoes. You're coming off an intense game, emotions are running high, and suddenly you're being asked if you deliberately tried to injure someone. That's not just unprofessional, it's downright disrespectful. Now, you might be thinking, what's the big deal? Reporters ask tough questions all the time. But this isn't your average post-game grilling. This question crossed a line. It's implying intent behind an action that was clearly accidental. In the world of sports journalism, that's a major no-no. But here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't just about one bad question. It's opened up a whole can of worms about how female athletes are treated by the media. Think about it. Would a male player be asked if he intentionally tried to injure someone after an accidental contact? Probably not. The WNBA Players Association didn't waste any time calling this out. They're saying this kind of questioning shows a lack of professionalism and respect for the players. And they're not wrong. It's like there's this whole other set of rules when it comes to covering women's sports.
I don't even know why I would intend to hit anybody in the eye. That doesn't even make sense to me. But no, I didn't. I didn't know I hit her, actually. I was trying to make a play on the ball, and I guess I followed through and I hit her, so obviously it's never intentional.
This incident is shining a spotlight on a bigger problem in sports journalism. It's not just about Brennan or this one question. It's about a system that seems to treat female athletes differently. They're under a microscope, scrutinized in ways that their male counterparts just aren't. Speaking of scrutiny, the WNBA Players Union is about to put the media under the spotlight. They're not just complaining about unfair treatment, they're taking action. And what they're asking for could change the rules of the game between athletes and journalists forever. The WNBA Players Union, led by Executive Director Terry Jackson, is going all out against USA Today and reporter Christine Brennan. They're not pulling any punches here. The union is demanding a full review of USA Today's journalistic ethics. But that's not all. They're even calling for potential disciplinary action against Brennan for that controversial question about the eye poke incident. You know what's wild? The union's statement basically called out USA Today for violating their own principles. They said, and I quote, "We call on USA Today Network to review its principles of ethical conduct for newsrooms and address what we believe is a violation of several core principles, including seeking and reporting the truth." That's some serious heat they're throwing at a major media outlet. This isn't just about one bad question or one reporter. The WNBA Players Union is fighting for something bigger here. They're saying players deserve respect and professionalism in media coverage. It's like they're drawing a line in the sand and saying, enough is enough. Think about it. How often do we see female athletes treated differently by the media? It's like they're always under this intense scrutiny, getting asked questions that male athletes would never have to deal with. The union is basically saying, hey, we're not going to stand for this double standard anymore. But here's where it gets really interesting. This bold move by the WNBA Players Union could set a whole new standard for how sports media interacts with athletes. Imagine if every time a reporter asked an unfair or loaded question, they had to worry about facing consequences. That could totally change the game. USA Today isn't backing down, though. They're defending Brennan, saying their job is to report without bias. They're pushing back against the idea that the interview was somehow unfair or perpetuated a negative narrative. It's like we're watching a high-stakes game of ping pong between the media and the athletes. This whole situation is shining a light on a bigger issue in sports journalism. It's not just about basketball anymore. It's about how we treat female athletes in the media and whether they get the same respect and fairness as their male counterparts. The WNBA Players Union is basically saying, we're not just going to accept whatever treatment we get, we're going to fight for better. As the dust settles on this media firestorm, a bigger question emerges. Could this eye poke incident actually be the catalyst for a major shift in sports journalism? The impact might reach far beyond the basketball court. This isn't just about one bad question or one controversial moment. It's about changing the game for women's sports forever. The WNBA Players Union's bold move against USA Today isn't just making waves. It's starting a tsunami that could reshape how we view and cover women's athletics. Think about it. For years, female athletes have been dealing with unfair treatment, loaded questions, and double standards. But now, they're not just complaining, they're taking action. And that action could lead to some serious changes in how the media interacts with athletes. Imagine a world where reporters think twice before asking those gotcha questions, where female athletes get the same respect and professional treatment as their male counterparts. It sounds like a dream, right? But here's the thing, it might actually be happening right now. This controversy isn't just about basketball, it's about setting a new standard for sports journalism across the board. If the WNBA Players Union succeeds in getting USA Today to review their ethics and potentially take action against a reporter, it could send shockwaves through the entire industry. But here's where it gets really interesting. While all this drama is unfolding, something unexpected is happening in the NBA. Male players are starting to speak up about women's basketball. Take Tyrese Halliburton, for example. He's not just sitting on the sidelines. He's actively supporting Caitlin Clark and talking about how cool it is to see women's basketball exploding in popularity. Halliburton said, "I think it's been really cool to see the explosion of women's basketball. That's huge. It's not just about one player supporting another. It's about breaking down the barriers between men's and women's sports. It's about recognizing that great basketball is great basketball, no matter who's playing. This growing respect from male athletes could be a game changer. It's like a domino effect. The more NBA players show support for the WNBA, the more fans might start paying attention. And the more attention women's basketball gets, the harder it becomes for the media to treat it like a second-class sport. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. There's still a long way to go. The backlash against unfair media treatment is just the beginning. The real test will be what happens next. Will we see real changes in how women's sports are covered? Will female athletes finally get the respect they deserve in press conferences and interviews? One thing's for sure, this controversy has opened up a conversation that's long overdue. It's forcing us to take a hard look at how we treat female athletes in the media, and that could lead to some serious positive changes down the line. All right, let's talk about what's next for women's sports coverage. This whole eye poke drama isn't just about one incident. It's shaking up how we look at women's basketball and sports journalism. So, how can we make sure female athletes get fair treatment from the media? It's not just about complaining. We've got to step up and support good journalism. Maybe that means calling out unfair questions or praising reporters who do it right. Here's the thing, we're at a turning point. The way we cover women's sports could change for good. And you know what? We can all be part of that change. Keep watching, keep talking, and keep demanding better. This isn't just about basketball, it's about respect. And if we keep pushing, we might just see a whole new era of sports coverage. One where every athlete gets a fair shake no matter who they are.